Hello everybody and welcome to a new TechRaptor Tiermaker ranking list. Today, we're gonna get good at these rankings. We are ranking Dark Souls 1 bosses. Now this is including the DLC. It's been a minute since I played Dark Souls, so forgive me if I forget some of the names of these bosses. We're gonna start off with Four Kings. Now Four Kings, I think, aesthetically, in concept, visually, really love this boss fight. I know you need a ring to be able to actually fight this boss. I think that's a cool prereq, although it is like necessary to beating the game, and you have to know you need that prereq because this is one of the four, I almost said Elden Lords. Like I said, really great aesthetics, really great concept. In practice, it's okay. It's a little too difficult, I think, in terms of the camera and some of the attacks it has feel cheap. But as a boss overall, when we're taking into account the vibes in addition to the difficulty, I think it's solid. So I'm going to put that in B for now. Great Grey Wolf Sif, is it an easy fight? Yes. Did I beat it on the first try? Yes. But the lore and the story behind this one, especially when you play the DLC and you come back to Sif, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you do the DLC first, it adds so much to that boss fight. It adds so much more context, and it even gives you an extra cutscene, which is even more heart-wrenching, knowing everything that's going on. But I think for now, because of the difficulty, I can't quite put it in S tier, but the lore is the majority of the reason that this is getting A tier. Gwyn, I think, is maybe the best fight of the back half of Dark Souls, but it's still not that great. It's a strong fight, mainly because of the music. I think the setting is also cool, like being in that final, I'm just gonna call it like a dust bowl. The environment is cool, it's nice. The context behind why you're there, what's going on there, is also very, I don't know what word to say other than epic, but that feels like it's reductive. Solid final boss. Not the best final boss I've beaten in a Dark Souls game, or a FromSoftware game, I should say. Yeah, he's okay. He's very, very solid. Just when the giant at the end of Sen's Fortress, see, it's fine. It's a very whatever boss fight. It's right before a very amazing moment in that game, one of the best moments in that game. But the fight itself it's fine. I do like fighting a big boss, but there's better big bosses to come. Moonlight Butterfly. I didn't even know how to fight it the first time I tried to. So when I realized what I had to do, I was like, really? That's it? F tier. I don't even remember the music here. I think the environment looks nice. The design of the boss is kind of cool. But it's a boring, bland, nothing fight when you know what you have to do. So that's F tier. That's a bad boss. Gravelord Nito is a tough one. Out of the lords, it might be my favorite design-wise. The Tomb of the Giants is an area leading up to Gravelord Nito is maybe my... Actually, no. I forgot about the swamp. Yeah, because the Tomb of the Giants at least has, patches, so it's kind of fun. As one of the lords, though, as one of the four bosses from the back half of the game, I like him more than the Four Kings. We'll get to Seath later, who's also, I think, pretty strong. The arena is not that great. You can get there early, which I think is fun. If you go through the coffin, that's neat. I like the design visually of the boss a lot. It's kind of annoying just running in laps in that room and dealing with his ads. But the boss himself, really good design, solid challenge. So it can get low A. For the back half, it's one of the stronger fights, absolutely. Now we're getting somewhere. Ornstein and Smo. The first time I got through that fight, and I slayed, I want to say I got Ornstein first, and then I saw Smo, balloon up, and then get the lightning powers, I was jaw on the floor. That was an incredible moment. Incredible music. The lore behind both of them are just so cool as, the Dragon Slayers, the Hunters. Ornstein and Smo might be my favorite boss of Dark Souls 1. In completion, including the DLC. So yeah, they are absolutely S tier. That's phenomenal fight, phenomenal context, phenomenal music presentation. The lighting in that hall too is just beautiful. I can't say enough good things about that fight. Is this the pinwheel? Yeah, I think that's the pinwheel. That's F tier. That took me like 2 seconds. I breathed on that and then it was done. No, thank you. Seath the Scaleless is also environmentally, aesthetically, a really cool boss fight. As far as the lore goes, as far as the mechanics go, solid. I love the environment. The run up to the boss, I think, is kind of whatever. It's not my favorite area in the game, but visually it is stunning. The story of Seath, the like fact that he betrayed his race of dragons and was a scholar and not a fighter is really cool. So I think I prefer the fight of Nito more, but Seath has more going for him. And I do like that there's a bit more to consider in the fight with Seath with like his fog that you have to manage. It's a little annoying, but it's at least more than just running in circles and laps. So I think we'll put Seath above Nito. Okay, is this the Asylum Demon? It's hard to see. We fight 3 of these dudes in the game. It's not bad, but it's repetitive, so D tier. This is the Stray Demon, also same thing. It's the exact same fight. While we're at it, where's the Fire Sage Demon? Okay, Fire Sage. They're all D tier for demons. There you go. Taurus Demon is... Taurus Demon I like. It's a basic boss fight. It comes at a really good time though. It's like your first... It's not your first actual boss fight, but it's the first fight where you have to like consider things beyond the Asylum Demon. The first like actual checkpoint are the gargoyles, but Taurus Demon I think is a really great moment. And it's a better moment than the Iron Golem, so for now he can hang in C tier. Maybe we bump Taurus Demon to like low B, but it's a really good moment on that bridge. It's super cool. We're actually gonna add another tier below F right now. We're just gonna call Bed of Chaos because I don't know what they were thinking there, man. I don't know. Miyazaki, what was that about? Artorias is the fan favorite, I think. When it comes to all-encompassing best boss of Dark Souls, people will say from mechanics to story, the lore, aesthetics, I think a lot of people would say best of the best is Artorias. Artorias is a great character, and I do like the boss fight a lot. It's very deliberate. It's very CQC almost. Like you really have to pay attention to his movement, his attacks, his animations, more so than the environment you're in. And I do usually value having to take into account the field you're playing in a Dark Souls game and a boss fight, like Ornstein and Smo using the pillars to dodge some of their attacks. I like that a lot. And while Artorias doesn't necessarily have that, he does have a couple AoE attacks. At least like one that I'm thinking of with like the smog effect. It's still a really good fight, and the story and lore behind Artorias is very good. So Artorias can get S tier. I think I still prefer Ornstein and Smo, but Artorias is pretty great. The Gaping Dragon, low B. It's a solid fight. Great design, freaky design, but it's kind of fine. It's kind of whatever to me. People hyped up Calamite to me. I don't know if I was expecting too much, but I thought it was like fine. Calamite's whatever. Yeah, I like the music of Gwyn better. As a fight, Calamite might be better. It's annoying to deal with all those fire breath attacks. Like I just had to like stack heals and like buffs. You know, I liked fighting Gaping Dragon more than Four Kings and Calamite. Also, the aesthetics of Four Kings I like more than Calamite. Calamite's low B. Manus, I actually liked Manus a lot. Manus I thought was basically a Bloodborne fight, and I had a blast fighting him. I feel like when I experienced that, I felt like that was an outlier position. I felt like that might have been a hot take. Manus. The lore of Sif is amazing. Manus, I could not tell you much about the lore. I just know that he took over the area and corrupted Artorias. So Manus can get high A. Sanctuary Guardian, I didn't like it that much. It's not like the other F tier bosses that it's like, oh, it's too easy, so F. It just did not stand out at all. And being the first boss of the expansion, like I get it's a skill check, but it's not good. It's not that great. I really don't like it that much. The Bell Gargoyles. These took me forever This is absolutely the first skill check. If you can't get past these, you're not beating the rest of the game. When you do beat them, though, that's when the game gets its hooks in you. You know, so like as a fight itself, it's not that complex. It's very meaningful though, and it kind of signifies like, hey, you get it. You understand Dark Souls now. You beat them, you can do anything, and that feeling is pretty great. Even if it's just two bosses managing the field, managing both bosses. I had a hard time with them. That might be the toughest boss I faced in Dark Souls, just because of like how crucial it is for you to be so understanding of the mechanics of how the game works, the rhythm, and also have enough time put in to have good levels and good skill allocation right then and there. So it's a very different experience for everybody with the gargoyles, and I think that's really something important to the game. They can't get S, but I think for the meaning they have to me in my experience with the game, and I think to most players with the game, I'm gonna put them in A. The track is pretty good also. The music's pretty good. And like I said, design-wise, they're just gargoyles. The tail axe I use for a lot of the game. But I think, yeah, they're strong for the reasons I said. So they can get low A. The Capra Demon. Can I put the Capra Demon in just the Bed of Chaos tier? Because it's like, man, what the fuck? It's a funny boss, the way it's implemented. Especially how I think what the remaster made it so it's like sometimes impossible to even like start the fight. The Capra Demon is something special. By the end of the game, it's just a normal enemy, and I do like when Dark Souls does that. So let's bump up the Capra Demon. It's a demon, so D tier. It's not, the Bed of Chaos is the Bed of Chaos, but the Capra Demon I think is better than the F tier fights. I'll put them above the non-Asylum demons because it at least is like a funnier thing. When I saw the Stray Demon, the Fire Sage Demon, I was like, again, really? When I saw the Capra Demon, I was like, wow, okay, sure. Now it's time for more of the Lost Izalith bosses. Ceaseless Discharge. It's not great. It's not good. Same with the Centipede Demon, like, it's fine. I don't like Lost Izalith, like, at all. Some of the environment design there is nice, but it's a lot of just, like, you can tell it's like, hey, they have to ship the game. So, Centipede Demon, yeah, it's kind of whatever. It's just an annoying obstacle at that point in the game for how strong you are and how well you know how to manage these bosses. Quelaag, I think, is the boss after the gargoyles that took me the longest to beat because I was underleveled and dealing with just the swamp. I'm forgetting the name of the swamp. But the place after Blighttown, you know what I'm talking about, it was annoying to grind there. I was like, I didn't have the right materials. I didn't have good enough armor. It was a tricky moment for me. It definitely took me at least like 40 attempts, I think, on Quelaag because I was very stubborn and refused to grind. Design-wise, I think Quelaag is like really a standout. Lore-wise, also interesting. Mechanically, solid. So I think Quelaag can get B tier. We'll go high B. We'll go high B for Quelaag. Priscilla is maybe the game's only gimmick boss. The painted world is really cool as a concept. Shout out to Mario 64, right? Like that's Priscilla though. I like that you don't have to fight her. I like that you can just choose not to. I did have to kill her for the platinum trophy. On my first run, I don't think I did because I was like, that's cool, you can do that. And it's cool that she is like sort of an NPC that's like, hey, no quarrel. Like let's just go our separate ways. You don't have to do this. So Priscilla on that front, I like as a boss fight. It's kind of neat, right? She turns invisible. You have to look for footprints. That's pretty cool, but she's also not that tough. So she can get above the Iron Golem. I still think that the Taurus Demon is a more meaningful moment in the game. I do really enjoy what they did with Priscilla, but yeah, mid-C. Gwendolyn has a lot of lore behind them. it's a secret boss fight, but for what you have to do to get there, it's kind of like underwhelming. And I felt like they could have done more with that whole plot. And I didn't really mess with the sigils or whatever, the mark, like the Dark Souls equivalent to the hunter marks in Bloodborne. I did not touch on that at all. I forget what they're called, but Gwendolyn was tied to one of those. I didn't really care for that side quest. And as a fight, it's just running down a hallway, you know, hiding behind some pillars. Like, it's kind of underwhelming for the game's, I'd say, only secret boss fight. So we can get below Priscilla, because I think the aesthetics of that hallway are cool. Gwendolyn is low C. I think that is our Dark Souls 1 boss Tiermaker ranking. That's how it shook out. The S tiers are Ornstein and Smo and Artorias. The F tier is Ceaseless Discharge, Sanctuary Guardian, Moonlight Butterfly, and Pinwheel. And then the Bed of Chaos is the Bed of Chaos. Let me know how I did here. Let me know what your choices would be. Let me know where I messed up, because I'm sure there are some people who would heavily disagree with some of the placements here. And yeah, we'll be back next week with a new Tiermaker. Maybe I'll be joined by somebody on the TechRaptor staff. Let us know if you want us to rank anything specifically, if you want to see us rank Pokemon games, if you want to see us rank PlayStation 4 exclusives, PS5 exclusives. Let me know what you want to see. We will tackle them. Stay tuned for next time, and thanks for watching.